Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I'm haunted by a sinister past.
And I'm Claire, and I'm a famous designer.
And this is Make
Make that
That
game,
Game!
where we pitch the latest
The greatest
new video game ideas.
that aren't gonna be made. They're not
Aw.
real.
Womp womp.
Or are they?
Dun dun
Dun
dun.
dun dun! No one will ever know.
Anyway, yeah, so we're here today. We are going to jump right in to pitching some game ideas that may or may never exist. Isaac, do you have a game idea to pitch today?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
I actually have two game ideas, and I need to know which one's more topical.
Okay.
Because this is basically going to be the Halloween episode.
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
And I have a spooky Halloweeny kind of thing.
Right.
But I also have just a general fall themed game, specifically about like apple picking. So like, is November going to be too late for apple picking?
No. I mean, like in reality, yes. Like I think most apple orchards are probably closed soon, but like in vibes, I don't think so.
Okay. So I'll go with the Halloweeny game.
Yeah.
All right. So I haven't come up with a good name for this, as I often don't. This is I'm gonna go with the working title, Scatterbones.
I like it.
And so in this game, you are an undead spirit who lives in like a spooky Halloween land. So like Nightmare Before Christmas style, like everything is Halloween themed. It's all dark and orange and purple and stuff. And there's ghouls and ghosts and goblins all around. So you are an undead creature who lives here, and a nasty gargoyle hits you so hard your bones scatter to all the winds. So then you start the game as a disembodied soul, and you're on a quest to recollect your skeleton, bone by
Oh
bone.
my gosh, this is great. It also reminds me of the wisps in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, it's a lot like that.
Yeah.
So the way that this works is it's going to be a I don't know, there's probably a specific term for this, but like a level by level platformer. It's not like an open world Metroidvania. I want it to be like you start the game, you don't really make any decisions on on the path that you take through the game. Like level 1 is collecting your hip bone or skull or whatever. The quirk, and then you progress through each level until you finally collect your entire skeleton, and then you have a battle with the gargoyle, and he is the final boss of the game, and you get your vengeance against him, and your soul is settled, or you become the king of Halloween Land or whatever. The ultimate goal is maybe just become the king. Why not have a little crown, a little gargoyle crown? Maybe that's why he smashed you in the first place, because you were the king of the land, and then he just smash you and steal your crown. Anyways, so the mechanical quirk here is that you start as a disembodied soul, so you have extreme freedom of movement. That like you can just fly around. You can like basically Kirby float through entire levels if you want to.
Beautiful.
You could just fly across the ground. The movement obstacles are basically arbitrary in the beginning of the game. Like the biggest conflict, the biggest obstacle that you come across is like wind turbines that would blow your spirit and force your movement in a certain way, but like enemies can't hurt you. There's no spike traps, like no bottomless pits that can actually do anything to you, etc. But as you gain more body parts, you become embodied, and thus your movement becomes more limited.
Are you like hopping on one leg and stuff? Is there like
So I that was one thing that I was thinking about. I wasn't exactly certain like if the legs would come as a set, just to simplify it, because like there's a couple ways you could do this. You could have like all 206 bones in the human body, and so you have 206 levels, or you just have like each level is like 3 stages, like have it as like a classic like Sonic style. It's like 3 stages and then a boss stage. So uh and then you do that 8 times to collect like the skull, the chest, one arm, two arm, and then the legs as a set, because hopping around does not seem like a fun method of transportation. So I think it works best if you get both legs, right?
sure?
Yeah. Um So yeah. But to trade off for the mobility issues that having a body results in, you do gain certain other things. So like, let's say you get the skull first. Let's say the game decides that you get the skull first. So you are a skull with a disembodied like soul energy around it. So like, you can still fly, you still float around,
Mhm.
but now like you can only fit through small gaps because your skull has to physically fit in it, whereas before you could just phase right through walls and stuff like that. And
Cool.
like you can actually take damage now, but I actually don't know what the upside for having a skull is.
Great.
Yeah.
Maybe because like it protect you, right? A little bit. It's armor.
Well, I figure as just a soul, you can't be hurt by anything already.
Okay.
Was my initial thought going into it, because like if a skeleton throws an arm bone at you, it just passes
So
through your
level one
ghostly
is just like
body.
nothing then, right? Like level
Like the first 3 levels are like basically nothing. The obstacle. So it's both a freebie and sort of like the difficulty of it is the like wind turbines that you have to learn how to navigate. Uh, Basically the first levels are going to be like sliding ice puzzles in an abstract kind of way. The same kind of concept. Like once you get in a wind stream, like it forces you to go someplace, so you have to figure out how to go through the various wind streams to get to the end of the level.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. I would play it.
Yeah, and yeah, you as you get different body parts, you lose mobility in some senses, but you gain power. Like the arms would allow you to have like a powerful attack, and might be the only way that you can attack. And then once you have the legs, then you like have to run and jump through levels instead of flying and finding gaps that you can fit through. You have to run and jump, but you're faster, and you can jump on enemies and damage them. Boom. So yeah, that's Scatterbones.
Okay, yeah. That sounds good.
That's my Halloween themed game.
Spooky. I like it.
So do you got a Halloween themed game for me to pitch to
So
me?
it's not really Halloween themed. That's okay. It's a little bit.
I
So
It's fine.
it's
Okay.
like trick or treat adjacent. So I think that's good. And it's actually an augmented reality game.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The title is not my favorite, but it's like a working title, so it doesn't matter. Is like Cookie Hunter.
Okay.
All right, so it's based on an article I read that they've 3D printed QR codes successfully inside of cookies.
What?
So
Excuse me?
basically, they use cookie to like carve the 3D print inside. So if you hold the cookie up to like light, you can see the 3D print through it. It's all made of cookie though, and like the actual appearance of the cookie is unchanged.
Okay.
So it's a QR cookie. And so the idea of the cookie hunter is that you have to travel to different bakeries in your area and collect. So when you scan the QR code of a cookie, then you collect that cookie kind of like Pokemon Go, and then you can battle your cookies in the game. So it's like Pokemon Go plus cookies plus discovering local treats.
So maybe this was too early in your life for memories to have formed. but in the 90s, I believe, there was this like idea. So it was barcode scanners.
Okay.
You would scan barcodes, and that would give you like a monster.
No, I
So
don't
you
have
would
that memory.
go to a grocery store and like oh, a can of soup gives me Sippy the snake, and
What
it
would
has
you
+5 strength.
Okay, by give though, because we didn't have like we weren't really internet connected at that point, like to the like we didn't have smartphones. Like where would you get the monster? Like where would
Um,
it exist?
so it exists in the game code.
What
So
game?
you had to buy a barcode scanner
Okay.
specifically for this,
Uh-huh.
and then in the memory of that game, right, programmed into that game is like if I receive a barcode
So it was a
like
specific
with
game.
yes, yeah. It was a specific game, but most barcodes were like fairly generic things. I think there was only certain barcodes that were anything special. But like if you just scanned every can of soup, you would basically get like the generic like Pidgeys and Rattatas of that game from what I remember. I never actually played it because buying accessories and stuff expensive.
Well, I did. Where are we? It's time to ask a question. I think
Okay, wait. You don't have like that.
that's
Okay,
pretty
that's your
much
game. Okay.
it. Yeah, I
Cool,
didn't
cool,
go
cool,
deep
cool.
into design. I mean, obviously, like different cookies, different characters. Maybe you could get the cookie recipes. I don't know. I think it'd just be fun to run around eating cookies and scanning QR codes.
Okay, yeah. And so this helps local businesses get
Yeah.
customers at least one time.
I feel like it was
So that's
probably
pretty
would be
fun.
like an event. Like maybe you like as a town you buy this game and then people do it on like a special day.
I like that. I like that a lot. It's like a town service.
Yeah, it's like a town
Cookie day.
like team.
Make it a tradition.
Yeah, cookie day. Anyway, so that's Cookie Hunter and it's a good time.
All right. Yeah. So, okay. Ask a question. I
Okay.
hear that Claire has a question
I
today,
do have a question. So my
which means it's a
question,
different segment than Isaac asked a
it's
question.
Claire
This is
asked a
Claire
question.
asks a question. It's
um
not the same segment. All right, you can.
okay, so my question is, what do you think the ethics are of using cheat codes in games?
Oh, okay. All right. So, if a cheat code is available, it is fine and actually also fun to use it.
Is that the
And
answer?
thought,
And
no,
thought.
well, okay, so, all right. Cheat codes are mostly in single player games, and I don't know, they do stuff like infinite lives, infinite health,
So
infinite
much more.
damage, like everything dies in one hit.
I'm sitting here over
And
here being like The Sims, and I'm like, so many things.
yeah, in Sims, is there like, do you type in codes like in RTS?
Oh
You used to
yeah,
like
that
in
was
Age of Empires, you would type in like cheese pizza, and it would give you 500 food resource,
yep,
and then you could build soldiers
yep.
with
It
it.
was that was probably the first time I used internet forums was to find Sims cheat codes.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, you type it in, you go Control Shift C. What was it? Bool prop underscore. Oh no. Oh man, I could probably type it without saying it out
Oh
loud.
wait, so wait, did you use these cheat codes by actually opening up a console like in the game? So like it like computer like the command terminal
Yeah.
that like Windows has? Okay, that's awesome. You open up the developer console
And then
and you
you
set developer flags, and
yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
cheat
you
codes.
turn things on true and false. Like that's how you do
Love
it.
it. I'm not even sure if that's really like. I guess it's sort of cheat codes, but it doesn't quite feel because like I'm thinking like putting a certain username as your like file name unlock certain things. Typing in
Testing cheat it
a
was bool prop underscore testing cheats enabled true.
incredible, incredible.
And then you could spawn things. So once you had that enabled, you could then like drag any so like in the Sims, sorry, I'm getting like so excited about Sims again, but like any health bar, like any of their stats, you can just click and drag them to wherever you want them to be. You can like spawn the Tombstone of Life and Death, which allows you to just like create new Sims, make NPCs playable Sims, make Sims NPCs. Like you can like
Wow.
you can impregnate yourself. Like there's just
Oh, I don't like that.
well, not you, the character. You can just be you
Oh,
can
okay. It doesn't like
no.
impregnate you in real life. Okay.
No.
Whew, I was scared. I was that this tombstone
But
was
yeah, so
too
anyway, so
powerful.
that's like my experience with cheat codes is like that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna break this down really. Cheat codes were gate kept accessibility options. There's my hot take. That's
Ooh.
clip that,
Yeah.
take it out of context, blow me up on the internet, call me evil. I don't know how you can interpret that as evil, but like, yeah, I mean, they make the game easier, and a lot of them are, like I said, like damage kills enemies easier. You don't take as much damage, so if you are less skilled at the game or you are less able to use the controls effectively, it can help you enjoy the game in a better way. Like, what's the difference between turning on God mode by pressing up, down, A, B, start, start, A, B, up, down, versus going to the accessibility menu and saying, take 10% damage instead of 100%?
Yeah, and
Or, like,
I think in the Sims example, it kind of like unlocks different ways to play because like it's almost like so like if you're just playing Sims straight up, it's kind of like survival mode in a game. It's like
yeah,
Subnautica survival because you're mostly trying to keep your sim like happy and healthy. Whereas like if you have the cheats enabled, then you can focus more time on like the relational drama of Sims.
yeah, and
Or, like
it's basically like creative mode, right?
yeah.
Like Minecraft has creative mode where you like fly around and have infinite of every kind of block and stuff, and it's you just create stuff. You
Yeah.
you don't worry about survival.
Right. So it's like you don't have to worry about money. You can buy whatever you want for your house, like those kinds of things. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that cheat codes are perfectly ethical. If there is a multiplayer game that allows cheat codes, I cannot think of any where you can just use cheat codes willy nilly. Like Age of Empires, I believe you had to set a flag when you made the game, like whether cheat codes were enabled or not. That's my primary experience with cheat codes. Age of Empires, by the way. So, like, if you had cheat codes enabled, then the enemy had equal access. So it was whoever could type the cheat codes the fastest to get the most resources. Or they had a cheat code where if you typed POW, like POW, and then any other word, it would spawn a baby like on a tricycle with a shotgun that would basically be able to kill any other unit in the game like pretty fast. So if you just type pow 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 pow, you could get like 15 babies and just roll into your enemy's base while they were building it, clear them out.
Wow.
Fun times, fun times.
Wow. Yeah. So I guess that does bring up a good point. It's like if you're playing like a Borg MMORPG, and you were cheating, then it's kind of is cheating because you can be better than other people, right? Like people who don't
Yeah,
know
I
the
think
code.
that goes into a different question because
Yeah. But like single
cheat
player
codes
games.
versus hacking.
Yeah, it's like single player games. It doesn't really matter because you're not cheating anyone. Like you're just doing your
Exactly.
game.
And some people say, "Oh, you're cheating yourself of the experience," but like, eh,
Well, we just talked about how it's just a different experience. Like
yeah, it's a different experience. It's and sometimes
I
accessibility,
think this
like
goes to
it's fine.
a podcast I like is called Reading Glasses. It's kind of like this podcast but for books, although they don't pitch books, but that would be cool if they did.
They
Um,
should pitch them that idea.
but yes, but one of the things they talk about is not to be a book snoot. Like that you're like, oh, you should read the classics or like audiobooks aren't books. And I feel like this is kind of the version of that where it's like you have to play on hard mode or you didn't really play the game. It's like no, you can play however
Oh,
you want.
yeah.
Play however you
Yeah.
want. Like play your video games.
It's completely valid. You are completely allowed to play whatever way is most fun for you because that's ultimately what this is. Video games are fun, actually.
Yeah.
They're not jobs unless they are your job, unless you're like a QA tester or
Yeah.
a developer.
Yeah.
In which case, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Or if you're a professional like video game podcaster.
Yeah, but we made it not our jobs anymore by
Yeah, I
removing honks and
removed. Well,
bonks.
okay, remove. I mean, we can still honk and bonk game. We just
Yes, we removed it as a
necessity.
consistent segment,
Yeah.
as a necessary segment. Yeah.
But anyway, so you're saying hacking versus cheat codes.
Yes. So a cheat code implies to me it's something built into the game that is like a little Easter egg intended for players to be able to like do.
Right.
A hack is like you were saying with a MMORPG, if you find a way to like never take any damage, if you like can run an outside program and it intercepts the HTTP messages, or yeah, the like messages that are being sent by the MMORPG client to the server, so that it makes it so that you never like take damage or something. That's not part of the game. You're hacking. You're giving yourself an advantage over other players. That that's sketchy.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side of it, if it's like a single player game, then it's sort of like if the game does not implement accessibility options, and all this really does is like make the game a little easier or whatever, that's in my opinion also fine. Modding a game, if you mod Elden
Mm.
Ring so all enemies die in one hit and it takes 100 hits to kill you, and that's how you enjoy the game, that's fine.
Oh my god.
That's
Can
fine.
we get that
But
mod for
if
me,
you,
please?
I'll look for it. But if you go into Elden Ring and you're doing PvP and you've hacked yourself to have max in all stats or whatever, and you are just destroying other players, that's not a fair thing. PvP meaning player versus player, for those who
What's
do not know the same terms as me.
Yeah, so I guess
Um,
it's just kind of like as long as you're having your time and it's not impacting someone else's time,
yeah,
I think go for it.
yeah,
I think it is interesting because back when I was doing my Sims hacking, it was so early. So it was The Sims. Like I was playing The Sims, like
yeah.
original Sims. And I was young and I hadn't played a lot of video games. And so it felt like I thought I was hacking pretty much. Like I thought I was being like so cool and like discovering things that no one knew. And it's like, no, these are on like they built that. Like that's not like it's
Yeah,
designed to be able to do that. And I didn't really think it through that way. Like I just thought, ooh. Yeah, the first one was Rosebud, and that could get you, I think, 1,000 simoleons.
that's money. Okay.
Rosebud, and then move all objects true is like the best, because then you can like design a little bit more freely, and you can put objects within objects and like all that good stuff.
That's creative mode. I
Yeah.
like that.
And you could also like move your Sims. So like normally you can't click and pick up Sims and move them around, but in move all objects you can. So like if they're like trapped in the bathroom, for example, which I was telling you about last night, sometimes happens, then you can just like shift them away. Or if you're trying to redo a room, but they're annoyingly right there, then you can move them out of the way.
Ooh, Animal Crossing needs that.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, because sometimes villagers will like walk up
when
to
you're
a tree and like
outside.
sit
Yeah.
on it, or like sit in the
Yeah,
middle
yeah,
of a
yeah.
path, and you're like, I'm trying to terraform here. Excuse me?
Excuse me. Get out of here, please. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Because you can do that in Paradise Planning. You can pick them up and put them
okay.
places.
Good.
but yeah, outside you can't. But yeah, so okay, cool. Well, that sounds good. We apparently are a pro cheat podcast.
Yeah.
Pro
no,
code,
as long as you're not using it to gain an unfair advantage on an unaware second party.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't give yourself an aimbot in Overwatch or whatever first person shooter. Just unless you're playing it. I don't know if they have a single player campaign, like a single player mode besides training. But anyways, yeah. Cheat away.
Cheat away. I do want to share with the whole podcast because I think it's funny. Before we started, I told Isaac the coffee tasted funny. My coffee tasted funny. And I realized it's because I didn't rinse out my cup. So even though I dumped out the strawberry seltzer that I had in there, that's the weird fruit flavor that's, I think, every now and then just getting a little...
That'll happen. Yeah, that's... Okay.
That's what it is. So I just thought I'd
we
share
are
with the
a pro
viewers.
rinsing our cups podcast.
I just didn't think it was that strong of a flavor that I would notice after I dumped it. But anyway, cheers. It's very subtle. It's totally drinkable.
Subtle undertones of strawberry.
Yeah.
in my pumpkin spice coffee.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, with that being said, we're moving on to a segment where we could get the words strawberry and pumpkin. Who knows? It's the rapid fire round. We're going to generate 3 random words. We will have 5 minutes to make those words into a game. The game needs a story, some mechanics, and a title, obviously. And, we're going to just do that. Are you ready with the timer?
I am.
Great. Well, then I am ready with the words. Here they are. Oh, this is good. Oh, I love this.
Okay.
Hot. Hobby.
Hot hobby.
Tournament.
Hot hobby tournament.
I want to go. I want to go to the hot hobby tournament. I'm in. I'm already there.
Let's go. Okay. So did any game ideas leap out at you?
No. I just really like the idea of a hot hobby tournament.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So hobby tournament. My hobby is Warhammer.
Right.
The hobby's now tabletop wargaming, and that has tournaments.
Yeah.
So it's a hobby and a tournament.
See, I was picturing but you dress sexy instead.
I would, yes, but I don't know how to incorporate that into a gameplay mechanic, except for all of the characters.
Maybe, okay. So
is it a dating sim? You go to a tournament, and also while you're battling other players, it's also a dating sim. So you're trash talking and flirting with each other as the battle is going.
Okay.
So it's a combination dating sim
battle game
turn-based
simulator
strategy game.
Yeah.
Which is basically what Fire Emblem is, I'm realizing.
No, but this is good. I like it. I was going to go a different way, but we're sticking with it.
Remember the game pitch I did a couple episodes ago? I don't remember how long ago, but it was basically that idea where you can flirt with enemies.
Wasn't that the one you said you didn't want to go there, and then I also made a dating sim, but I didn't want to make it a dating sim? We were both never mind. So we're going to do a dating sim. We're doing it. And we're going to the name is Hot Hobby Tournament. that's perfect. It's already
and then our advertisements are all of the hot other players.
Yeah.
And
it's a pretty straightforward. I like that it incorporates the turn-based RPG into the dating sim, right? You're still playing the tournament games, but you're also flirting as you go. So you could win the tournament. Maybe there's even a thing where oh, should you let this hot person win, but then they look down on you because that's not really playing the game.
Certain characters have certain paths that you have to do. You have to lose to them in one round, but they have to watch you win another tournament. Because I imagine it's not just one tournament. Yeah. I imagine you go on a circuit.
Oh, yeah.
And you meet the same characters, and maybe there's one character who doesn't show up until later in the game.
It's like Rock Band.
Yeah, sure. I never played. Does Rock Band have a non-free play mode?
Don't even get me started on Rock Band's campaign.
Then I will not.
I was so into it. I was deep. Deep into it.
Nice.
Anyway.
Also, so an important part of this is also you would have to paint, and
the hobby
paint
part.
Not actually painting, but
design.
At least being able to customize the units you use
so
we've got
the tournament, we've got the hobby, and we've got the hot. I think we nailed it.
Yeah, Hot Hobby Tournament, the turn-based RPG dating sim where you customize your figures. Hot Hobby Tournament with 1 minute and 30 seconds left. That is time.
Beautiful. All right, are you ready for our next 3 words?
Yes, I was born ready, actually.
Oh my god. Okay, broccoli. Always a good start. Franchise. Okay. Maximum.
Okay.
Broccoli franchise maximum.
So broccoli, I'm gonna mutate into vegetables.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
You are a vegetable farmer operating a stand.
I'm gonna argue we could just make it different varieties of broccoli. We could make up fake broccoli. I just feel like why not just lean in?
Okay, let's focus. Yes, you are a broccoli farmer. You actually, I like this because it does open up an interesting interesting mechanic. So I imagine the core gameplay: you buy broccoli seeds, you plant them, you harvest them. So it's basically a farming sim, uh, where you start off like small scale, but then you maximize to this massive, like huge, multiple broccoli farms selling millions of broccolis a day across countries, managing all that. But because it's specifically broccolis, we can do broccoli crossbreeding.
Ooh.
So you buy different seeds, and then you've got like variety X of broccoli. I don't know enough about broccoli to like talk about this too much, but like X crossbreed with Y broccoli,
If you know
and now
about
you make
broccoli, send
Z
us an
broccoli.
email.
Yeah, hey, send us emails about your broccoli farmers. We want to know. We want to make this game. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
advertise your
So I
business.
think it's a breeding, but it's also going to be like a resource slash store management. Like you're franchising your broccoli stand, like you're selling the
Yes,
broccoli, you're managing multiple franchise opportunities.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as the game goes on, but I think it would be really fun to like start like super super duper tiny, like literally like a small garden in your backyard and like a little stand on the side of the road, and then you just become this massive corporation.
Capitalism.
Capitalism, ho!
All right.
So I don't know. Is that what's our name? Broccoli or bust?
Okay. Sure.
Are okay.
I was trying to come up with like some kind of broccoli pun, like stocks,
Well, that's time with 2 minutes and
broccoli,
30 seconds left.
tree. Okay.
But then also broccoli does grow on stalks, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then it like florets. The florets are like the top.
I I feel like we actually could have gone somewhere with stalks and stocks, and
Yeah, but that Animal Crossing already did that.
you're right. You're right. You're right. They beat us to it.
Yeah. So
Wait, isn't broccoli like a kind of cabbage or something?
I don't know.
I feel like we found out that broccoli is not what you suspect. It's like
I don't know
an
anything. Now that like the
immature.
more I think about broccoli, the less I know about broccoli.
I'm just gonna do a quick Google. I feel like there was something that related to broccoli. One version is like a less ripe version, so it is in the cabbage family.
Okay.
This is now a broccoli podcast.
No, the
We
broccoli
learn
cast.
about the history of broccoli. Um,
No.
okay. Well,
No.
yeah, okay. I'm
Uh,
not learning anything.
no.
Maybe I'm thinking of something
Let's move
different and
on.
wrong. Fine. Okay. All right.
Let's leave the
Okay.
broccoli cast behind us and go to our next three words.
Okay. I'm ready.
Safe.
Okay.
Hut.
Okay.
First. That makes me think of
Um.
tiny hut, my favorite spell in D&D.
Okay. So my initial thought was like a survival game where you have to build your hut
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for safety, but we can keep the survival game aspect. You are a wizard who knows tiny hut.
Well, what if you're the first person to invent tiny hut? That's why it's first.
Okay, but what gameplay?
That's
Do
just
you
a
teach other
story.
people tiny hut
I don't know.
or?
That's just the story element. We got to get first
Oh,
in there.
okay. So you're the first wizard to learn tiny hut.
Maybe the game is learning tiny hut. You're trying to build the spell. So you have to build a bunch of huts to practice and you have to like learn magic and you're like trying to figure out how to do it. And then you win when you finally discover how to do tiny hut.
Okay.
No?
Okay. All right. So
Yes, no? Yes, no?
No, well, now I'm like I'm trying to think of like, okay. So we've got like an idea, so what's the gameplay actually look like? So you
I think
walk
it's
into the
like
forest,
yeah, it's like a
you
over the
collect.
shoulder POV. You're like running around. You are a wizard, so you have magic. So you collect like objects and like you try to like build huts with. Maybe you already have some spells, so you like build huts with certain spells you have, and then like the more huts you build, the more you like learn new spells through it. So like it's like, oh, you've unlocked like invisibility, or like, because tiny hut's opaque. I guess it's not invisible. Is it? I can't remember. Anyway, you can't see
It's been
into
so
it.
long since we played Dungeons and
I know.
Dragons.
I know. We are the meme of like scheduling conflicts for adults.
Yeah.
But yeah, the I know you can't see into it. I don't think it's actually invisible.
You
So
can see out of it.
yeah, so like figuring that out, right? Like, oh, like wall transparency. That's a new spell I learned. Or like, oh, I don't know. I think you have to learn how to make it last a long time, right? Like this could work. Like the more huts you build, the more spells you do, the more you learn new spells, and then eventually you can combine them all into tiny hut. This has to be
Okay.
how actual magic gets discovered, you know, like spells.
Yeah, but so all right, so the gameplay is repeatedly casting spells for practice.
Well, you have to collect things to do it.
Or
Like you're in the woods, like you said. You're like there's probably like wood things that are like running around. You gotta like defend yourself from. Maybe you get like newsletters about other wizards trying to discover tiny hut before you do. So it's like
okay, wait, okay. I here now we've got an interesting concept. So you have a progress bar that says how close you are. All of your actions add to this,
mm-hmm.
and then you periodically get updates as to how other NPCs are doing, and
Yeah.
it's literally
a race to be
like
the first.
a race to be the first.
What how are we on time?
We have a minute and 30
All
seconds
right,
left.
we might want to start thinking of a name because I don't want to fail again like last time.
So is the game only
Oh
about
God.
Tiny Hut, or is it?
I don't understand. I don't know why you can't grasp this game. I don't know why. I guess you could if you wanted more levels where you're discovering other spells. Sure, I don't know, but it's all about being the first to discover it. I don't know why this is not enough game for you. I'm already playing the game. I'm already playing the game.
All right, we've got a minute left. I just don't understand what the gameplay aspect is. Like that sounds like a story.
Yeah,
I don't understand like what your character actually does in the game.
Yeah, you're hunting through the woods and you're collecting objects, and you have to use the objects to like kind of like Animal Crossing recipes. Like you find a recipe that's a spell, and you need objects to cast the spell. And the more you cast it, the more you'll learn. You'll gain like skill points, like Sims. Like you gain up in skill of wall transparency until you get all the way to the top, and then you can make a wall that's transparent on one side and opaque on the other. And then you're like, great, done. Next step.
Okay.
We need to name it. We have like a second.
We have 15 seconds, and the game is called Wizard of the Woods.
All right, Wizard of the Woods. Jeez.
That's time with 10 seconds left.
Jeez.
Whee!
You're killing me. You're killing me over here. All right.
Sorry,
all right.
I was not visualizing like an actual gameplay because like okay,
it's weird because I can I'm already playing the game in my head. Like it's so clear to me. I don't know how else to describe it.
All right, can you describe a like 2-minute period of playing the game? You start up the game.
Yeah. All right, I'm on my little wizard guy.
You load up your save.
Yeah.
Explain to me.
So I'd open up my like inventory and I'd see that I have like level 2 like roof skills, and so I'm like I gotta practice my roofing skills. So I look at like my roof like recipe, and it says I need like 20 logs. So I'm like running through the forest and I like chop down a tree, but then like oh no, like when I chop down a tree, like an evil owl comes out and I have to wizard battle with the owl. But then like I solved that, and then I collect all my twigs and I like cast the spell, which maybe takes like time or energy or something. And then my bar goes up. It's like, okay, well now you're at level 3 roof building. So like you're that much closer. And then like a bird flies by and it's like a letter from town. And it's like Wizard Farfulfluff has reached level 4 of roof building. And you're like, oh no, I gotta keep working hard.
Okay, all right, there we go. This has pieced it together because okay, in my head, based on the description, like it literally seemed like, okay, so you found the roof recipe, And now you just sit there clicking the button to cast roof until you max out roof. And it just seemed like a very grindy game.
I mean, it still is going to be a little grindy, but it's definitely going to have like...
But like it has actual gameplay to it besides just sitting there like, I cast roof.
Right.
I cast roof.
No.
I cast roof. No. Okay, there is more gameplay than just that happening. Also, I would like it if we made this game and we used that soundbite.
I cast roof. Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, well, thanks everyone for listening. That's our show. If you want to follow us on social media, we are at Make That Game Pod.
You failed to cast that spell. You don't have enough Make That Game plug.
I guess not.
You need to cast that more times.
Yeah, so at Make That Game Pod on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. We are on, we actually are on Facebook. We have a page there, but I don't know what it is. But if
I'm going to do a test real quick. Like, is it just facebook.com/makethatgame?
It might be. We also, you can email us at makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on YouTube, and please subscribe if you do, and leave us a rating on iTunes if you can. And if you, go ahead.
It's facebook.com/makethatgamepod.
Beautiful. There you are. So if you are on Facebook, you can find us there as well. And if you heard a game today that you think should exist in the real world, we encourage you to get out there and make
that
game.